Hey guys, it's Niklas here from upgradeToLife.com, and in this video I want to talk with you about inner man and outer man, the highways of the inner world. So first of all, it is very important for you to know that if you never heard about inner man or outer man before, don't be confused, don't be shocked and you think, oh, is this something really important that I need to know in order to manifest? No, it is not. Straightforward to the point. But understanding this can help you to realize what is going on in your life, how to approach your life in a better way, and why it is important to realize that this is an inner game, right? That this is about your inner world and where you stand within, not so much where you stand without, because where you stand without is always dependent and a byproduct and the effect of what you do within, right? Within is the cause. So this is about the internal world, and let's look first of all at my explanation, right? How I see this, how I explain this, and then let's look at some quotes from Neville. So first of all, what is meant by inner man? What is meant by inner man is just your imagination, your awareness, the state it is fused with. So your internal state, right? I always point at my body, but this has nothing to do with your body, but just where you are internally, where you in which state of consciousness you occupy internally, which means you can right now, within minutes, within hours, you can identify yourself and shift into the state of being really wanted or being financially more independent, right? Even though your current circumstances are showing the opposite. When you do this internally, obviously, when you then look at your bank account, there will be no change. But in the long run, right, when you remain this internal state, things will change. You will see the right opportunities, meet the right people. You will do the right actions in order so that this internal state is reflected back to you. So basically, what is meant by inner man is just this inner state. And what is meant by the outer man is basically this world of senses. So the world of senses, what do you see, what do you experience without, right? That is the outer man. So what your physical body basically experiences. But inner man is where you stand in consciousness, what you assume to be internally, but the outer world is then what you experience in this normal world. And the thing is that the inner man is forever faithful to his imagination, because he only basically sees his imagination, and he believes in the current existence of his desire, of his goal, right? And don't be concerned about this. Don't think that this is very difficult. It just means that when you, for example, identify with your inner state, then internally you already have achieved your goal, or this is already normal to you. You have already realized your goal, right? That is where the inner man stands. But then on the outside, when you just look at you and your life, you haven't realized your goal. So that is why the outer man is forever chained to his senses, right? And he doesn't allow himself to do so effectively, so to believe in the existence of his desire effectively, because he only sees what his senses tell him, and therefore the outer man, your human self, basically can't, first of all, unless you understand all of this, trust in whatever it is that your imagination is showing you. So I hope by now you get those different worlds. It is actually just describing those two worlds, the world of senses, the physical world, the 3D world, and the imaginative world, right? Whatever you see and experience within your imagination. And you can have two standpoints. You can think of the first point of view, which is your imagination, where you already have your goal, where you already live in your desired state when it's natural to you. And you can live in the world of senses, where you only say, oh, currently this is how it is. And I cannot change, or I don't have my desire, right? That's the inner man, and that the other is the outer man. Now, let's look at some quotes. So Neville said, "The journey is in yourself. You travel along the highways of the inner world. Without inner movement, it is impossible to bring forth anything." Which means without an inner shift, without this shift in your state of consciousness, without this shift in your self-concept, this shift in your identity, you can't really see changes. And when you do, they are very short-lived. So everything is taking place internally. And man's inner body is as real as the world of subjective experience, as his outer physical body is real in the world of external realities. But the inner body expresses a more fundamental part of reality. This existing inner body of man must be consciously exercised and directed, the inner world of thought and feeling, to which the inner body is attuned, has its real structure, and exists in its own higher space. If this sounds difficult to you, don't worry at all. Neville has his own words of explaining that, but to explain it in simple words is that man's inner body, right? Just your internal world, right? Just your whatever you assume and believe and accept and are convinced of to be true, right? That is as real as what your senses are telling you in the outer world are real for your physical body, right? For your physical self. And this is what all of this is about actually, is to stop relying so much and at all on your outer self, on the outer man, right? Whatever your senses are telling you, but rely more on the inner man, on whatever you perceive and accept to be true within yourself, within your consciousness, within your imagination, which just already exists. Okay, that is meant by inner and outer man. Then he continues and he says, there are two kinds of movement. One that is according to the inner body, and the other that is according to the outer body. The movement which is according to the inner body is causal, but the outer movement is under compulsion. And that is super important. Again, please don't make this difficult, right? The inner body, it's not that there's a body within you, another body. It's just that inner body is wherever you stand within imagination, wherever you assume to be true, you're just your internal world, right? Your assumptions, your imaginal acts, right? Just your internal world, whatever you conceive to be true, even though there is no proof, first of all, on the outside. And the external world, the outer body, is basically just what you then experience in this world. So you can say the inner man is basically your imagination, right? Whatever you do within. And the outer world is just then the manifestations and the things that you get without. And the awesome thing is that he said that the outer movement is under compulsion, which means when you, first of all, shift your internal state, then your external body, basically what you do on the outside, is under compulsion of your internal shift. Like I explained in this video, which is called Why Acting As If It's Not Enough, where I explain that the deepest shift that you can take and you can make is in your state of consciousness. So when you shift into a new state of consciousness, then all the other things you do, so the actions you take, the decisions you take, the results you get, right, all of that is under compulsion based on this inner shift. And that is why he's saying the inner body is causal, because you first change within and then without. That is actually what this means. Inner man and outer man, as within, so without. It's just another way of explaining it. And for some people, this is also a great understanding right here. And he says, inner movement is the force by which all events are brought to pass. Outer movement is subjective to the compulsion applied to it by the movement of the inner body. Right, so inner movement, your inner world, your state of consciousness, your identity. Your identity is not visible. It's only visible through your actions and through the results you get. But everything else is really subtle. It's really not visible. It's just your internal, where you stand internally. But that is the cause of everything. And that's it for this video, guys. I go back so that you can read those quotes again. Maybe even rewatch this video. It's not meant to be very difficult, but I wanted to explain this topic because the only thing that this topic and that this video should bring across is that this game of life is an internal one. This is about your internal world. And therefore, when you carry more about this internal man, the inner man, basically, where it stands, what you assume to be true, identify yourself with, imagine for yourself, and all of this, then the outer man has to change. The outer world has to change. Whatever you do on the outside to get you from A to B will shift and will get you from A to B. So focus on the inner man. And that's basically it, right? It only counts where you stand internally. It only counts where you stand in consciousness, because that then will lead up to also, so that you also stand there in this three-dimensional world, right? Rich people, successful people, healthy people, people in a happy relationship, they're there, first of all, before they get this, if they imagine consciously, they first are there within, and then they also get it without. So that is for this video. Thank you very much, guys. Speak to you in the next video. Bye.